Okay, I'm going to show you how to install a processor. Pretty simple for people that know how to, but pretty non-simple for people like other ones. So on the motherboard there's usually a couple different chipsets. This is the built-on motherboard. Built onto the motherboard is the graphics card one. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about the processor. How to install it. Some different ones, there's different designs on them. Like this is a 4-open 2-core. You gotta match up which way it goes on the motherboard socket. Most of them there's always a lever to unlatch it. You gotta aim it which way it goes on the motherboard. This one goes this direction. Other ones might spin another direction or have a totally different design on them. All you do for putting it in, you gotta set it in there. But first, before any of this, you gotta make sure this is all cleaned out and your pins are always straight. I already made sure because I always check for this first. All you do is put it right in. After making it clean, this motherboard is not clean, it's so dusty, which is kind of bad, but not for this model. All I gotta do to latch it on is just push the lever down, and it locks it right into place and it's hard to move. Now if you're gonna put your heatsink onto it like mine, all you have to do is put a thermal compound on here, making sure it's smooth. You put this right on top of here. You bolt it right on. Most of them usually have two black or white mounts that go onto here for clamping ones on with a lever, but they just go right to the motherboard on the back. These ones are pretty easy and nice to work on. Now most motherboards are different. This one is a different model. This is my personal one. This has a different layout than the other one. This one, here's the processor where it goes. Mine's not installed yet, but my heatsink will go on this motherboard and it'll fit in there and it'll bolt on nicely. Be the same principle with this one has a different design for a plug. And that processor, the other one will not work on this one, so you gotta get the right designed ones and the right ones you know that'll work with your motherboard. This is what it looks like when it's inside of the case and bolted in and all ready to go. They're basically, when you get everything into there, it's a pretty compact thing. It's like when you're working on it, it would be pretty good to take out all the stuff out of it. Like my heatsink is out of it, so I can put it in there and build it later. But all together, it should go in pretty nicely if you got your right parts, you know what you're doing. If you don't, I would probably ask like a technician or try to YouTube it. But for the most part, it should be just simple. You guys get the right thing, gotta make sure it's cleaned out and it's all opened up. There's nothing blocking any of the holes. When you get it all put into there, get it compounded pretty nicely, you get it bolted down pretty tight so you don't get any looseness. Because if it's loose and it starts wiggling and the heatsink doesn't work with the processor, it'll fry the processor and it'll be dead. It will not work ever again. It's just a paperweight.